here for the reason for the celebration. And I also want to thank Thad Persons who really organized this event and got it going. I want to encourage you all to log on to the Wildcat Connection, our alumni website, to see pictures of this event and to also make sure that you receive our alumni e-newsletter, the Wildcat Wire. And now I'm going to turn the program over to Fred Scott, who is our Director of Choral Music.
I think I can out-yell this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. You think I'm going to speak about Frank Boggs. I'm actually going to speak about Martin Luther. They were both in the same business, you know. Martin Luther, among other things, did say, "Why should the devil get all the good tunes?" He was referring to hymns which he called chorales. But I found a couple of quotes from Luther that I thought were quite pertinent to this celebration, and to this celebration of a very special man. I have to tell you that in some kind of 6 degrees of separation, which my mother used to call the long arm of Thomasville, Georgia, which means essentially that you are related ultimately to everybody you see, or they went to the University of Georgia with one or both of your parents, and you can't get by with anything. I discovered that. Well, thanks to the long arm of Thomasville, I knew Frank Boggs long before I knew Frank Boggs. Because as it happens, the man who was the minister of music at First Baptist Church, Thomasville, which us Baptists just called in our own superior way, First Church, as if there would be any other, happened to leave First Church, Thomasville, and go to work at Word Records. And so I have been listening to Frank Boggs on record long before I knew him by sight. And I must say that knowing Frank for the number of years that I have, the 30 or so years that I've been in Atlanta, it has been a great joy to me, and it is a particular joy to me now to be Frank's, or at least one of Frank's successors as choral director at the Westminster Schools. Nothing could make me happier. And I feel quite privileged to be carrying on a tradition which he started, a tradition in which many of you participated. And I'm not just talking about going to Russia and getting kicked out of luxury hotels, although I heard a little bit about that tonight. I didn't know that story. I thought it was all on the up and up, but I'm happy to see that there were some little hanky-pankies going on. I won't go into all that I have discovered, but I will tell you that it's a great honor to follow Frank, because it is a tradition which set a very high standard, and not just musically a high standard, but also a high standard of personal commitment to oneself, commitment to one's art, commitment to one's community, commitment to one's friends, and certainly commitment to one's God. And I think all of those rolled together create great music. And I believe that Frank stands for that. And it is my pleasure to have discussed this with him on numerous occasions, not just while I was working at Westminster. And so it is a great pleasure for me to sort of start this evening off. And so I found these quotes from Martin Luther, and I thought they were very good for tonight. He said, "I am strongly persuaded that after theology, there is no art that can be placed on a level with music. For besides theology, music is the only art capable of affording peace and joy to the heart." He goes on, he says, "I have always loved music. Those who have mastered this art are made of good stuff. They are fit for any task. It is indeed necessary that music be taught in schools. A teacher must be able to sing, otherwise I will not look at it." That may explain why nobody watches me when I conduct it. Also, we must not ordain young men into the ministry unless they have become well acquainted with music in the schools. We should always make it a point to habituate youth to enjoy the art of music, for it produces fine and skillful people, and that would be you. Experience proves, says Martin Luther, that next to the love of God, only music deserves being extolled as the mistress and governess of the feelings of the human heart. I don't know anybody who has brought such peace and joy to all of our hearts as Frank. And so I salute Frank tonight, and I salute you, and as the director of choral music at Westminster, I welcome you back home It may look unfamiliar to some of you. There are some new buildings since you were here. But the spirit is still here, and it's a Christ-filled spirit, and I'm happy to say it's a music-filled spirit, and we're delighted to have you. And I turn the program over now to my colleague and my sometime boss as Dean of Faculty, Dad Briggs.
Sometimes you come to be in the audience, and tonight we're a reunion, and it's good to see everyone. I am the housekeeping portion of the program, so I just want to let you know, in just a minute, we're going to call you up by section on the stage. For those of you who feel underhydrated, we have water ready on the side. And if you feel faint, step off and away, not off the bat. We have music up here for you. We want you to share. We also want you to return it after you're done. This may be a little different from your practice in past ensemble. Just make sure to return that music that Frank has gotten for us tonight. I want to thank a couple of folks. I want to thank the alumni office for helping get this together. I want to thank Pam Keys for having seen her tonight. She is helping this. She is. And the Zackuses are here tonight for hosting this big party. Stacy Madden has helped out a lot. The live folks, Daniel came in tonight to do this, kind of in the holidays. And I wanted to tell you that this came about from a lunch that Frank and I and Stacy were having at OK Cafe. And we said, we've got to get this group back together. We want to sing all these songs, and we don't want to miss out on this opportunity. And he said, I'll do it. So he said a little rope. This is, Frank's going to come on up, and we're going to start to begin to wander up. You're going to help us out by passing out music. This is a very family affair. For those in the audience, if you're here because you want to be, welcome. If you're here because you were drugged along, thank you for your patience. It's going to be a rehearsal, and we're going to stop and start, and we're going to sing as best we can, but we are going to give our humble version of a simple prayer tonight to God and to the fellowship and the relationships we have. So thanks for everybody coming. I'll say we have at least one person the farthest away from Southeast Asia, if we can beat that. I know we've got some folks from California. We've got a lot of people who made a long trip to get here. Thank you for your time. So stay seated for just a minute. Frank's going to come on up. You want me to start bringing them up now? Or? Yeah. Okay. So, in Frank's tradition, if you sang bass, come on up.